It's a beautiful Thursday. You are so welcome to Let's Talk Showbiz here on JoyNews on Multi TV. It's another day to talk showbiz, and you don't want to miss this episode. All right, if you first join me, this is Let's Talk Showbiz. My name is Becky. I will be giving you every story that you need to hear in the world of entertainment. So this afternoon, let's start with Joe Metal. He was on the Super Morning Show with Daniel Dazi, and he's been sharing, some really sad story about his life, where he's coming from, where God has placed him. You need to hear the story of Joe Metal.
I think then I had completed junior high school. But because of how difficult it was for me to even go through and finish, I mean, at a point it was very annoying, the fact that your parents probably may always have to come to the school trying to plead with the teachers just to keep you in school. Because I was always, like, whenever we can't pay the fees, you were thrown out. To a point where sometimes I didn't want to tell them that I was sacked for fees. So I'll dress up saying I'm going to school, and then I'll go find, then I was a drummer. So you could play and get some small coins. So I'll dress up, but I had my church clothes in my bag. And so when I get to town, I change, go to church, play, get something little just to keep pushing. But my mom also wanted me to stay in school. I wanted to study myself because I knew God had showed me where he was taking me, and I knew it was going to take only education as well for me to be able to make it the way he wanted me to. And so through it all, I had to still keep going to school. And by God's grace, I was able to finish the first phase, which was the junior high. And then when I was done, that was when I started doing some work by the side. It was around that same time I went to the phone card business, all those other things. So I joined a company. Then it was, what's the name? The telecom companies. Those times it was One Touch. And I think they had...
Was it Space Phone or...?
No, it was One Touch and Space Phone then, yeah. And then there was Star Call or something.
Yes.
Yeah, and all those things, yeah. Those the younger ones who understand. And so I joined a company that normally they have bulk of those cards. And so we supply to the people in the kiosk and stuff that sells. So you needed to have clients, and then you supply them during the week, and then you go for the money. And that too, at a point, became, a problem. You always had this shortage. I don't know where it came from. There was always a shortage. But the shortage always kept you in the company, and you won't be able to leave. Because if you have shortage, what it means is you owe the company amount of money you can't afford.
You can't clear yourself.
Yeah, so every month they deducted a little bit from your salary, and you keep staying there, And that was a walking job. You walk for hours because you sort of like gather your customers in one big area, and then you move to the next and to the next. And because I had to survive, I had to survive. So once it had nothing to do with crime, and it was going to get me food to eat and to survive, I had to do it. And so, yeah.
So you played drums to survive? You began to sell call credits just to get by? In those moments when you get home from work, was there a song that you would sing?
There were songs. I mean, there were songs though, but around that time, the amazing thing is God wanted me to do something else. Anytime all these things were happening, I had the encouragement and assurance in my heart that it would pass. This would end one day, or this would end one day. And so I was never discouraged.
Really?
Ever. Because the point is, I had nothing to lose just to trust God. The point is, I didn't have anything anyway. So trusting Him would not take anything away from me, but would rather give me a hope. And that's what I did. I held on to the assurance He had given me that He's called me for something. And I didn't know what it was, but I was like, you're God, you're all-knowing, and so I trust you. And so I kept working, I kept believing, and through it all, I never stopped serving God. I would go to my churk, work there, serve there, I remember then the church didn't give me anything, but I'll still go. I was the first to go. I would clean, we'll go set up, we'll sweep. And there were times when I had to sleep in the church. Because what had happened was this. I knew that God wanted to use me, but I had to wait on my gift. Not knowing when it was going to manifest or anything, I waited on it. And so I spent more time in the house of the Lord, praying, worshiping. And there were moments when I complained, I'm human. I'm like, God, you said all these things to me, and I'm not seeing anything. I'm still struggling. I'm still suffering. I remember people, I had cousins and stuff. Sometimes, some of them, their parents were abroad and things. They wear the stuff, and then after they've washed and washed and washed, and they're tired of wearing it, then they give some to you. There was a time I got this black shoe. I'll never forget. And it was the first time I got a shoe that wasn't old. Like it was new. I didn't believe it. And like I wore that shoe so many times. And I cherished it.
Whilst you were walking to a Agege from 37.
Hey. So it was a really, really tough thing, but I think that the faith I had in God kept me going. It was the only thing that kept me going.
So that was the story of Joe Metal. Everybody has a story to tell, and that is Joe's story. I hope you have been inspired by that story. And he has also been, telling us all about the Wind of Revival concert, which is slated for this Sunday. This is why you shouldn't miss it.
Wind of Revival is actually a sub-theme of an annual event we host every year called Praise Reloaded. And this is actually the 8th year running. And this year, the theme that God gave us was the Wind of Revival, because it's going to cause a stirring in the realms of the Spirit. That same wind, or that same sound that blew when the people of God gathered in Acts chapter 2. And so that's what we're going to experience, God willing, this coming Sunday. This Sunday is not just a concert, it's going to be an experience and an encounter with God. If anybody has ever been to our event, you will know that, our focus is the power of God, the presence of God, which changes the life of a man, which causes a stirring in the life of a man. One that when you leave, you would see changes in your life. It's our prayer that on Sunday, God will heal people, God will deliver people. People will be saved, people will be transformed, that any life that needs revival, by the time they leave the room, that revival in the family, the revival at work, anything they need the revival for, God is going to cause that to happen for them. And so, it's this Sunday. The time is 5 p.m. The venue is Paris Dome.
That was Joe Metal. Let's move away from Joe Metal and talk about Becca. Now, she believes that the Takoradi girls that are missing can't be found, and so the state should do something about it. If you need any help, you can call on Becca, you can call on anybody, but the girls need to be found, and which is why Becca has been talking to us.
When this thing happened, I think I hadn't even given birth yet, and I actually, at that period in my life, I told myself that I wasn't going to pay attention to a lot of things, because I felt like a lot of things were really, really bringing me down, and I just wanted to concentrate and have it. But now, I've followed it a bit. I've watched videos, I've seen how the Canadian girls were kidnapped, I've seen how they've been found, and I see the Tadi girls, and I see what's happening still. You know what, security measures I think should be put in place. I think that our security is not tight at all. I believe that the people that are in charge of this thing should not take it for granted. This is going to be another story where it starts and it ends and nothing happens, and we're all here, we're going to see that. But you know what, these Tadi girls need to be found. If the Canadian girls are being found, the same way, the same strategy that the Canadian people came together to make sure this happens, Ghanaians should just put all our forces together, put all our strength together, put all our heads together, put every resource that they can possibly get together to make sure these girls go home, because they are our own Ghanaian girls, and they need to be found. I think that is very, very important. But I believe that security measures need to be put in place for foreigners, for people that come in without us knowing them. I really don't, I haven't read, and I don't know where the girls, exactly where they were kidnapped, but I know they were in Takoradi. I personally believe that they can be found, and they should be found. Whatever resource that we're going to, if they need help from any of us, we're all there, we're all willing to make this happen. Are you missing me? Take my hand and fly away with me. I'm surely gonna miss you when you leave.
The new mother has also been sharing how motherhood feels like. She says it's the most beautiful thing in this world, and you can only say that true love exists when you have a baby. Yeah, when you have a little baby right in front of you, feeding her and, you know, going back and forth and playing with her. That's love. That's like the realest love you can ever get. Becca on motherhood, everybody.
You do change a bit. You really, you don't change a bit, you change a lot. You understand the true meaning of love. You understand the true meaning of not love, not the shallow love, but the deep love that is unexplainable, that you cannot explain to people. It's like, it's from the onset when you know you've sowed a seed and you're bearing the child. Everything about it is so wonderful. And when you hold her, and even being out now, I can call her a million times, because I feel like, and this is what you call the flesh of your flesh and the bone of your bone. It really is true. It's so beautiful having to bring life into this world, especially she's a woman, she's a girl. That makes it more beautiful. She's adorable, she's healthy, she's doing well. And I honestly, I respect all women. Women that are mothers, are yet to be mothers, women that are taking care of people's children. I think that to do that job is not easy, but it is worth it. You know, it's so fulfilling, absolutely fulfilling. It's hard to explain it, but it's beautiful. This is what you call real love, real love.
All right, so this one is for our Niger family. Yes, the BBA Niger experience will be happening. Well, actually, it will be launched tomorrow, and so we will give you all the details. But my colleague Doreen Avio, she's currently inside Nigeria, and well, she gave us this so that you understand that the BBA Niger is going to happen, and all the things, all the updates. Doreen will be giving us everything that you need to know about this year's BBA Niger.
The first Big Brother Niger was actually done in Nigeria. So, and I think a lot of people don't know that. So it always, when that question comes, we say, no, it's, you know, from time to time, it depends on the strategy of the group, where we have studios. Some of these studios are not, I mean, you can't rebuild it every year. So at a time when we had Big Brother Africa, we had South Africa, we had even the Portuguese version, it made sense to just have it all done in one studio. So that same studio can get reused, you know, with a bit of style. So it made sense to shoot it out of that studio in South Africa. But with time, and we're doing that with lots of programming in East Africa, there's studios that you know, producing certain programs. And as we grow our local content, a lot of what the group is focused on is local content investments. So as that is changing, there was a need to kind of grow infrastructure here, build a new studio, and I think the decision was made to bring it to Nigeria. And it also gives us the opportunity to use the light set of that for some other productions which we're doing. So there's a lot more, and that needs to be process decision. Yeah, I mean, it's not happening at the same time it happened last year. New infrastructure project which takes.
On that note, we end Let's Talk Showbiz here on Joy News. Kindly join us same time tomorrow for the Friday Hangouts edition. I will be here with Ya Pono. Please join us next.